Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court. I just want to show this because it's so wow. It's this guy. I'm just so I don't have to like start it and stop it immediately. I just want to set this up. Within the first 5 minutes of this video, you're going to hear this guy insist that Chili was not arrested for doing anything illegal. You're going to hear him insist that Chili broke no laws. You're going to hear him insist that the judge is completely biased because of the way she treats Chili. You're going to hear him insist that the judge is running her court. The judge's court, in which the judge has all of the authority in an inappropriate manner. You're going to hear him insist that the judge speaks to Chili in inappropriate ways. Yeah, this is the stuff that I saw just in like the first 5 minutes that was like, I gotta watch this with somebody that's not just me, that will want to scream at the screen as loudly as I do. Now again, I got my first taste of this from a guy who purported to be a lawyer who's out there on YouTube someplace. And the video for the lawyer stuff, if you just want to go to YouTube and search Free Chili DeCastro, you'll find the videos. There's like 3 of them. They're all like an hour and a half long. I don't have that much time in my life to, I mean, I'd love to. Maybe if y'all want to like schedule that and like us all watch those 3 hour and a half long videos while this guy reviews a 30-minute video. I don't know about all that, but this lawyer agrees with this guy about all this stuff. But okay, we'll throw this out there. The lawyer guy is self-admitted friend of Chili DeCastro who agrees with a lot of apparently Chili DeCastro's points of view. So I'm not sure how much of a lawyer he really is. I mean, there's lots of different types of lawyers, right? And just like when it comes to doctors, you got good doctors and you got stupid doctors. I mean, just because you have a doctorate doesn't necessarily make you a brilliant person. Just same thing when it comes to lawyers. Just because you're a lawyer doesn't mean you're brilliant in all aspects of law. He may be really brilliant when it comes to contract law, but not so much when it comes to criminal law. I don't know. But this video is unique. Let's just get into it. I've set it up enough. Right before we do though, thank you everybody. This is the last video of the 25,000 subscriber celebration. I want to thank everybody for showing up and celebrating with me today. And I want you to tune back in with me every Saturday at 11 o'clock Central Standard Time, noon Eastern Standard Time, for Lunch with Lone Wolf or Brunch with Lone Wolf or whatever the heck we're going to call it, because we're going to go live every Saturday for a little while to watch some court cases and fun videos together. That's what we're going to do now that we've hit 25,000 subscribers. It's just how it's going to be. So, on with the show. If I can figure out how to work things.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay.
I gave him 3 additional warnings.
Okay, I've got to stop it immediately right here because this guy, where he's showing this in the video, where the cop is actually asking him to back up, and the actual time marks on the video, they don't comport. He's using this video inappropriately, and sure, it's the cops body cam footage, but where Chili is standing right here is where he was standing when the police officer was saying back up, back up, back up. Not right here. So I don't care. This guy sets up a lot of non-factual things such as this through the course of this video. Let's see if it enrages you as quickly as it did me. I'm just going to shut up now.
To back up.
Okay. And did he obeyed those orders?
No, he did not.
I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel. So,
You already are.
great.
You already are. He's a pig.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay. So I'm not going to permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. He wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States. All right. Please stand up, sir.
Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go feed her. You're being detained right now. Okay, then detain me.
An American is locked away in a concrete and steel cage for the next 180 days.
Because he deserves it. I've got to pause it right there. An American is locked away in jail for the next 180 days, 6 months for those who can't math very well, because that's me. 6 months because he freaking deserves it. He broke laws, and in association with the legal regulations comporting with those laws, a judge has sentenced him appropriately for the laws which he broke.
He damaged no property, he stole no property, and neither harmed nor threatened to harm any other man or woman on this earth. He's in jail on 2 charges: obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer in a
Which are both illegal.
single incident that took place on March 15th, 2023 in this parking lot at this exact location in the parking lot at 4155 South Grand Canyon Drive in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thankfully, the incident was recorded on at least 2 cameras. And if you remain objective, you're going to see exactly what happened that day. And if you're honest, you'll conclude that a man is sitting in jail for absolutely no reason.
Okay, no. He is absolutely sitting in jail for a reason. And I just want to start here. You don't need to be objective about this. Your feelings and objectivity have no bearing in the legal ruling of a person breaking the law. That's the point of laws. Laws are definitively actually objective. What you're describing here is if a person is subjective about their definition of what law is. But laws are objectively recorded registries entered into legal documentation by legislators and litigators, and they are things that you can find on the books. Just because you may agree with them or not, or know about them or not, doesn't make you not subject to them as a citizen, and that's just part of the, social contract. Now, I think this is interesting.
The American sitting in the cage is Chili DeCastro from the YouTube channel Delete Laws. And it really doesn't matter what you think of him. It doesn't matter if you like and support him. It doesn't matter if you hate and deride him. The question is he guilty of breaking a law? If so, what law did he break? Did he commit a crime? Did he create a victim? Does he really deserve to be in jail for a single hour, let alone 180 days? Did he get a fair trial? Was he well represented? Was the judge impartial? Did the cop who was involved give a lawful command? What does lawful even mean? And just as importantly, and people who support Chile may not like this consideration, did Chili conduct himself in a way that would not psychologically disturb the people who already stagger under the drunkenness of their own unbridled power?
So right there, you can already see the bias by which this creator is coming from in this situation. And he asked the most asinine question: what do you call lawful? Again, he's taking a subjective stance of what is lawful, which is idiocy. What is lawful is objectively cross-referenceable. You can know what is lawful simply by looking up the statutes in the law. It's literally in the name of the thing you're talking about. And I know I'm taking a very layman stance on this. Keep in mind, I am not a legal professional. I'm just a dumb guy with an opinion on this situation. And this stuff is silliness.
Now, this is an hour-and-a-half court proceeding, and I'm only going to comment on what I consider the highlights. The link to the entire video will be provided in the description. Here's the awkward initial clash between Chili and Judge Ann Zimmerman.
Are you Mr. DeCastro? Can you turn off the phone, please? The one that's in your hand.
Just communicating with my lawyer. He's on his way here now. So I'm just waiting for him to get there.
All right, I'm gonna wait for your attorney, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jose DeCastro, 23 CR 013015.
Good morning, Your Honor. Agnes Botello, advocate for the record. Good morning, State.
Good morning, Michael. Me on behalf of the defendant is present with me this morning.
So I have signed 2 media requests that permit recording or photographing these proceedings, but I have not granted any other requests to record or live stream these proceedings. So I need Mr. DeCastro and everybody else who wants to stay in the courtroom to surrender their phones, or you can leave.
Are your phone covered and I'll take one or you can exit.
Americans have to know that nearly every courtroom across the land is a Constitution-free zone. You have to disarm and you have to follow the court rules, which hardly ever line up with the Bill of Rights.
They don't need to line up with the Bill of Rights. That's why it's called a Constitution-free zone.
Zimmerman demonstrates her disdain for Chili's rights and the rights of everybody else in the courtroom to personally record and act as press. She makes it clear that it's her courtroom, she's in control, and only allows certain people to record.
That's called being an administrator over a proceeding, which is literally her job, dude. So, I mean, I don't know why you're taking umbrage with the fact that the judge is literally doing her job to the best of her ability. Move on.
Now here's the friction between Chili, the judge, and the court bailiff.
I need Mr. DeCastro to empty all of his pockets.
What's that?
Empty your pockets
and give up your phone to the judge.
Okay. This next action we're going to see here is contemptuous.
I have to give you my phones?
Yeah.
My phones have to be completely off.
Yeah.
He's questioning the judge
I don't really want to
and
be part of
refusing to
the
follow her
meeting.
order.
So,
You already are.
great.
You already are.
Awesome.
I'm not gonna get into this guy though. I'll get into someone else. I'm
No,
not touching myself.
no, they're gonna go to my marshal.
Now, why is he approaching this completely different person who he has not been approved to approach? Why didn't he just give his phone to the individual in which he was ordered to give his phone to? I mean, what an asshole move.
He's a pig.
Excuse
And he's a pig.
me?
I said he's a pig.
Okay.
That right there, ladies and gentlemen, sealed the deal for him. That didn't necessarily get him the max sentence immediately, but I think he already had the max sentence when he came in here because she knew what was going on. She already knew the situation. She's studied up on this guy. And He was already looking at 90 days, but he was probably looking at 90 days at the same time. So he was probably just looking at 90 days hard time, or whatever you want to call this. This is Las Vegas jail he's going to. But that right there, that action right there, I think that action probably earned him his consecutive time.
Sir, I'm not going to permit you to speak to anybody in my courtroom in that manner. And if you don't want to apologize, I'm going to hold you in contempt.
I apologize to the court, Your Honor.
No, you can apologize to, they've done nothing to you.
Actually, Your Honor, when you were here, you came over and gave me a directive for no reason and started telling me what to do.
Okay,
I
well,
have all the respect and love for the court. I follow the rule of law all the time.
no, it is their job to maintain the safety and security of the courtroom.
I agree with you, Your Honor.
So if you want to speak like that in my courtroom, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And if I hold you in contempt, you're going to jail. That is not my wish. Okay?
I wish you could.
All right. So I need you to empty your pockets too. Suit pocket, pants pocket.
This is illegal. This is a violation of my Fourth Amendment.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is. I don't have any recording devices on me. What are you talking about?
How about your suit jacket?
I don't have anything on me. This is preposterous.
No, it's
This really
not.
is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Mr. Me, your phone too. Off.
They're recording everything.
They have a media request.
Right, and I'm not recording anything.
But you are being contemptuous with the judge. This is just stupid.
Your guy here took my phone, so his phone's not on.
Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, never talk back with a
Say the
judge
word
like
phone
this.
too?
Ever.
No, I'm not gonna
Don't
say
ever
the word.
don't ever talk back
He's
with a
an
judge.
officer of the court.
Calling a cop a pig in a courtroom is not advisable when you're standing before a black-robed agent of the state who's already exhibiting signs of extreme bias against Chili and his YouTube channel. The court marshal clearly didn't have to grab the phones out of Chili's hand in that manner. From the start, the deck is already stacked against Delete Laws. As we've seen many times before in countless videos, when the fragile egos of authoritarians are damaged, any semblance of rationality and fairness evaporates. They are now no longer psychologically able to stay on the task of judging by objective law. They are now governed by their frail emotions.
And see, this is where you're wrong, dude. This is exactly where you're wrong. She is able to use objective law. She's not using her emotions because she is following the codified ordinance of the law.
Chili's in this situation to begin with. He damaged the unstable emotions of Officer Brandon Bork during his traffic stop.
And see, here he's setting up, he's poisoning the well by suggesting that this is all because he hurt someone's emotional feelings on a traffic stop and the police officer just was so hurt by the situation. No, dude. Chili created a clear and present danger for a police officer who was in the middle of a traffic stop by inserting himself into a situation in which he was not a part of to start with. And I just want to throw this out there on the front end as we're watching the rest of this. I'm going to start getting a little bit more quiet, but this is my last salient point that I'd like to make. Anybody who does this type of stuff, anybody who just walks up to a stranger and inserts them into their life activity, like Chili did in this situation, is invading personal space. It's not right. It's crazy. It's not something any normal human should do on a normal, regular basis. It makes people feel uncomfortable. The poor lady in the car was already embarrassed because the cop was wedged in behind her and she couldn't go anywhere, and she was feeling embarrassed about whatever the situation was that she was going through with that police officer. Then this complete stranger comes meandering up to her car with a camera out. She's probably thinking in her head, what the hell is going on here? Who is this person? Am I in danger? Is he about to get into a fight with the cop? Am I going to be in the middle of gunfire? What is happening? The same thing's probably going through the cop's head. what is in this guy's hand? What is he doing? Why is he inserting himself into this situation? Is he going to escalate this situation to where I'm in danger? Is he putting the life of this citizen in danger who I've just pulled over for a minor traffic infraction? All of a sudden, it goes from a minor traffic stop to felonious interfering with the duties of a police officer. And to be clear here, I realize that he's not charged with felonies. In my mind, this is a felonious action. He's actually charged, I believe, with misdemeanors, but still, he's put the life of this police officer in danger by creating the distraction and making the situation a lot more tenuous than it should be. I don't know if people agree with me on that, but that's my big takeaway here, and I'm going to be a little bit more quiet, and we'll watch this together.
So let's review why Chili's here.
You good? Why'd they say that you were pulled over?
Before you release.
Oh, I see.
Like, what a terrible.
Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha.
You can film, but you need to stay away from my driver. Back up. Back up, or I'm going to detain you.
You're gonna detain me how? In which way?
Instructing. Get away from my car.
Actually, I'm standing right here. I'm at least 10 feet away, officer. I gotta tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can do whatever you want, but just understand something. Your name will go on the lawsuit. Mind your own fucking business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go feed her.
You're being detained right now.
Okay, then detain me. Oh, she's free. Oh, you're gonna detain a journalist?
Yes.
2015, Rodriguez.
Come over my car.
Don't put your hands on me.
Come over.
Don't touch me. Don't put your fucking hands on me.
I am going to put my hands on
No, you're not. I gotta make sure. Hey guys, make sure you guys get my people on the phone. Oh, this is so you ended the stop, you dunce cap. Did you just end the stop? So that's
Yes.
a 2015.
Come over here to my car.
No,
Come over here.
no.
Need an additional unit.
Bring your supervisor, please. Bring your supervisor, please. Don't touch
Over
me.
to the car.
You don't get to put your hands on me. Don't grab me. Don't grab me. Listen, you're not. First get your supervisor out here. You're not just gonna grab me and throw me on the ground. You've already released You've already released her. This is 2015, Rodriguez versus United States. I'll walk right in front of your car. Let's go. Sure, come on.
You need to set the phone
There you
down
go.
on the hood.
No. I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can't take away my
Set the
phone.
phone down on
I'm
the
in
hood.
fr- I'm now.
You're
I'm
being
a,
detained.
Please,
Now you're going to put hands on me.
No.
Come over here.
Why are you grabbing me?
Come over here.
Sure.
Now Officer Bork takes the stand, preliminary questions are asked, and this is the relevant part of his testimony.
Initially, when I saw him, he was just recording. I ignored him, continued my records check. Then when he came over to the driver and started speaking with them, I got out of the car, approached the driver, and told DeCastro to back up.
When you first laid eyes on the defendant, approximately how far away was he from the driver of the vehicle in the Hyundai?
Approximately somewhere within 5 to 10 feet.
Okay. And you indicated that he was recording?
Yes.
Okay. What did you see that led you to believe he was recording?
He had his cell phone camera pointed directly at me.
Okay. And so is that when, upon seeing him being that close to the driver, is that when you told him, you walked up to the driver of the stopped vehicle and asked Mr. DeCastro to back up?
Yes, once he started talking with the driver.
Okay. And why is it that you did that, officer?
Well, I can't have unrelated people next to my traffic stops. I don't know if he's a dangerous person, armed. He could be a boyfriend of the stopped person. It's for my safety and the safety of the person I've stopped.
Okay. Because you're also in charge of the safety of the individual that this unrelated individual is making contact with. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. And so you saw it as an officer safety issue as well as a safety issue for the driver?
Yes.
Okay. And so when you approached, well, you said he was recording, the defendant was recording. At any time, did you tell him to stop recording?
No, in fact, I told him he can continue recording.
Okay. He can continue to record given what?
As long as he backed up and gave me an appropriate distance to work.
Okay. And so when you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay.
We're going to come back to this because this is a lie that can be clearly demonstrated.
And so what did you do next?
I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
Okay, and did he obey those orders?
No, he did not.
This is another lie.
And what, if anything, did you do with the driver of the
Neither of
stop
those
sign?
answers were lies.
At that point, I chose to release the driver of the Hyundai and then focus my attention on Jose de Castro.
And subsequently, did you turn your attention on the defendant?
Yes.
And can you tell Judge Zimmerman the nature of your interaction with the defendant after that?
I ordered de Castro to the front of my patrol vehicle while pointing at it and told him that he was detained.
Okay. And what was the purpose of detaining him?
For obstructing my initial traffic stop with the Hyundai.
Okay. And did he obey your lawful order?
No, he did not.
When they get to this point where the prosecution brings her laptop up to the stand to show Bork's body cam footage, they have serious problems with the audio feedback, which is, in my opinion, unacceptable and ridiculous. For the sake of clarity and focus, they should have a system that anybody can easily plug into so that they can make a case without unnecessary technical difficulties.
Well, dude, it sounds to me like you need to get your butt over to Las Vegas, Nevada, and get yourself hired on with the court system so you can advise them correctly about how to set up their telecommunication systems for their court hearings. Because as it stands, your personal opinions about how their telecommunication systems are set up best for their court hearings makes no difference whatsoever at all. This stuff is set up so they can record this stuff for the court purposes, not so you can watch it on YouTube and hear it well. You dunce cap.
I'm going to overlay what the court played with Delete Law's recording of the incident, and then we'll break it down.
You good? Why'd they say that you were pulled over? Oh, I see. Oh, I see. Oh, gotcha. You're gonna detain me how? In which way? Actually, I'm standing right here. I'm at least 10 feet away, officer. I gotta tell you, I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can do whatever you want, but just understand something. Your name will go on the law sheet. Mind your own f***ing business. Mind your own business. I'm a member of the press. Go get in your car and do your job, little doggy. Go feed her. Detain me. Oh, you're gonna detain the journalist? 2015, Rodriguez. Don't put your hands on me. Don't touch me. Don't put your f***ing hands on me. No, you're not. You guys get my people on the phone. Oh, this is so you ended the stop, you dunce cap. Did you just end the stop? So that's a 2015 case. No. Bring your supervisor, please. Bring your supervisor, please. Don't touch me. You don't get to put your hands on me. Don't grab me. Don't grab me. Listen, you're not. First get your supervisor out here. You're not just going to grab me and throw me on the ground. You've already released her. This is 2015, Rodriguez versus United States. I'll walk right in front of your car. Let's go. Sure, come on. No. I'm a constitutional law scholar. You can't take away my phone. I'm now
detained. Now you're going to put hands on me.
No. Why are you grabbing me? Sure. Let the phone roll. Why are you grabbing me?
Turn around.
I'm a member of the press.
Turn around.
I'm not doing anything.
So the cop's testimony is that Chili didn't step back.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Let's take a look at this clip. When the cop walks away from his cruiser toward the driver, Chili is clearly standing with his right foot inside the white line and his left foot on the white line. He backed up, beginning with his right foot, then his left. He's clearly 2 or 3 feet back from where he was initially standing before being told to back up. The left image is where Chili was standing before being told to back up, and the right image is where he was standing after he was told to back up. Now, the cop says he didn't back up at all.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not.
Okay.
The camera says he did. Cops lie, cameras don't. The judge should have thrown the case out on this alone. Assuming Chili's shoe size is close to a foot, it seems obvious that he's at least 3 feet back from where he was initially standing. In my estimation, he was 10 to 15 feet away from the driver's side door after being told to step back. During the cross-examination, attorney Michael Mee asked Bork this question.
How many feet did you order the defendant to back up specifically?
I never had an opportunity to give him an exact distance.
How far back did you intend to have him back up, even if you didn't express that?
In the background of the video, you could see that there was a parked semi-truck and a light pole. I would have directed him somewhere in that area, which would have been outside the 21 feet.
Your testimony is you never told him an exact distance to back up, correct?
Yes, he never allowed me to.
What do you mean he never allowed you to?
I asked him to back up, and he continued arguing with me, so I could never specify the exact distance for him.
But you had time to give him 5 commands to back up, is that correct?
Yes,
Your testimony is he never backed up when you were giving him commands, is that correct?
if he backed up, it may have been inches, but he didn't substantially back up.
At this point, the attorney should have said, hey, this witness is lying, Your Honor. He's claiming that my client didn't allow him to state exactly how far he wanted him to back up, yet he could tell him to back up 4 or 5 times. He also claimed twice that my client didn't back up at all.
When you asked the defendant to back up, did he follow your order?
No, he did not. I gave him 3 additional warnings to back up.
Okay, and did he obey those orders?
No, he did not.
This witness has clearly discredited himself on the stand, Your Honor, and I have proof that my client did exactly what he was instructed to do, even though
He is not. You do not.
there's no law stating how far one must be away from a traffic stop. Nor was my client told how far he must back up. So the defense attorney keeps pressing forward with this.
And you just reviewed the body-worn camera from your chest, is that correct?
Yes,
Okay. You didn't notice him backing up every time you directed him to back up?
he did not back up.
So you backed up 0 feet, in your opinion? Based on that video?
Not 0 feet.
So I just want to throw this out there. The standard gait of a step is not a single foot. So, where the guy was making a big deal about, oh, well, considering his feet are such and such small, it doesn't matter. When you just think about how you take a step when you take a step. Your step is about as wide as your shoulders, which could be anywhere from 2.5 to 3 feet. He may have literally taken 1 step back. We could give him 1 step, but 1 step is still only like 3 feet. It's nowhere close to 20 feet or anything like 20 feet. I'm getting started again, sorry.
What was that?
He didn't back up 0 feet. He was moving his feet. As to exactly how far he moved back, I don't know,
Later,
but it wasn't substantial.
What would have been substantial in your opinion? Or what do you mean by that?
I would have guided him if he wasn't arguing with me back toward the light pole and the parked semi-truck.
And
Would have, again, would have been outside of the 21 feet. That was my goal.
So in your opinion, you have the ability, or you would in any traffic stop, ask somebody to move back 21 feet, is that correct?
Yes, for our training,
And what was that training?
that while we're conducting lawful activity, we're allowed a reasonable distance to conduct our activity.
But where do you get that 21 feet number from specifically?
That's taught to us in the academy. It's based on reaction time, normal human reaction time to a threat.
So your position is anytime you're engaged in any law enforcement activity, you would create a 21 feet perimeter?
Not necessarily. It depends on other environmental factors such as obstacles and barriers.
So your testimony is that every time you conduct a traffic stop, as long as there's no barriers, you would order a pedestrian to back up 21 feet, is that correct?
I would, yes.
The bottom line is, number one, Chili was told to back up, and he did. Number two, the cop lied and said that he didn't back up. Then he said he did back up, and then he said again that he didn't back up. Number three, there is no 21-foot law or any law specifying the distance one must stand away from a cop at a traffic stop. Therefore, no lawful order was given, and therefore, no obstruction occurred and no lawful arrest was made. What we have on camera is an attack by a man in a costume who was butthurt that he was told to mind his own business and was called a little doggy by a man holding a camera and exercising his press and speech rights.
No, that's incorrect. Your perspective is skewed, and you sound like a petulant child. You need to understand Chili was creating a clear and present danger. He was given clear orders which he did not adhere to. He created a distraction during the course of a police's official actions and duties. I mean, all of your assertions in this video that he did not break any laws or didn't do anything wrong is completely out of the atmosphere. It's stupid. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard, that somebody could have this point of view about this kind of situation. If this were you, if you were this police officer, heck, if you were the person in the car getting pulled over, you wouldn't want this situation happening to you. So shame on you for making this stupid kind of video that really tries to suggest that an injustice has been done because your feelings.
So now the cop leaves the stand, Chili enters the stand, and here are some of those highlights.
Yes, I do have I do have a YouTube channel, and the reason I have a YouTube channel is because of how many cops kill people every year, how many cops hurt, maim, torture, rape, and kill people every single year. It's such an epidemic that the rest of the world, I get thousands of emails saying, only in America does this happen. I started filming cops because when I was cheated in 2002.
Objection at this point, relevance,
Well, this is the reason I'm a member of the press.
this narrative.
So can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. What type of films do you make for your YouTube channel?
I only film police in their official capacity. I'm known across the country and across the world.
And why do you engage in that type of filming?
So I'm going to ask you, Mr. Need, to direct your questions about the incident in question.
I was filming that cop because that's what I do for a living. I am a member of the press, and I invoked my right to be press. I always invoke my right to be press within the first 10 seconds of engaging with police, and I have thousands of videos that prove this.
Do you recall the officer telling you to back up?
Yes, I do.
And what did you do after he told you to back up?
I took a couple steps back. I just showed him that I was willing to back up a little bit. However, if I may, in Arizona, they created a 10-foot law.
Objection, relevance, we're not in Arizona, it's the state of Nevada.
So I'm going to allow it because I think that goes to why he kept saying 10 feet in the video, even though I will take judicial notice that you're not in the state of Arizona, you're in the state of Nevada.
Well, a federal judge struck it down, Your Honor, and
Stop. Can you ask him a question?
Yes, Your Honor. Approximately how many feet did you back up?
I backed up a foot or two. I was at least 10 feet away from that car that the driver was pulled over in.
Did the officer ever give you a specific distance to back up to?
No, he didn't.
If he did, would you have complied with that?
Sure,
Did you believe you were complying with the officer's commands?
100%. I also informed him I'm a member of the press, I'm a constitutional law scholar, that this is what I do.
Do you recall him explaining why he decided to detain you before he arrested you?
He decided to obtain me because he said I was obstructing, which, from my understanding, is a physical act where I would have to get in the way. He said that the driver deserved privacy. I believe my First Amendment rights are not up for feelings. I think from the officer's testimony, we can see that he's scared of the driver, scared of me, scared of everything. They teach them to be afraid of everything. So I had 2 cameras out. It's identified as a member of the press. I'm sorry, repeat the question. I want to get it specific for the record.
Sure. The question was, did the officer explain to you that the basis of your detention was because of you not backing up or because of the privacy issue of the driver?
It was both. He said that, he told me to back up. I backed up a little bit. Then he said, she deserves privacy. And then I told him to go get in your car, little doggy, and write your ticket. And at that point, his face turned bead red, and his veins in his neck stuck out because we were over 20 feet away. And you had to holler to hear each other because the wind was probably 30 miles an hour.
After Chili leaves the stand, the prosecuting attorney says this.
Your Honor, the state asks you to find the defendant guilty of both the obstructing a public officer as well as resisting a public officer charged against him. The video very adequately portrays, and I don't think it's disputed by the defendant, what the context was of the interaction with the officer. I would venture to say that had the defendant just complied with the original order to not engage with the driver and to back up, we wouldn't be here. He would have found himself further engaging with Officer Moore.
See, the problem is the video shows that he did both of these things. He stopped engaging with the driver and he backed up. And the cop lied. So she rambles on.
No, it didn't. The video shows neither of those fucking things. Excuse me. I didn't mean to cuss like that. But that video doesn't show those things. Those 2 stills seem to suggest that he may have taken a single step backward at some point in time, but we don't even really know when in that conversation he may have meandered that minor distance between that line and that single stride gait to the point he was standing at in your second steal. I'm getting worked up again.
On for another 4 minutes, and then the defense makes his closing statement.
So first of all, you cannot obstruct an unlawful order. I disagree with the state that this is not a First Amendment issue. The First Amendment in this context actually has 2 parts. There's the filming and the right to film within a reasonable distance. The case law in all the federal circuits, Your Honor, there's no 21 feet rule that's been approved by any court of which I'm aware. That there is a 10-foot rule. That seems to be the rule that is applied by most of the federal circuits in interpreting the First Amendment. I submitted a bench brief that kind of goes through that issue if the court's had a chance to review that.
I don't have that. When did you submit it?
It was submitted yesterday, Your Honor.
I mean, at this point, I would move to strike because it's untimely, but I got it this morning when I walked into court.
Go ahead.
So the officer's testimony that there's essentially this 21-foot distance where anybody can charge an officer and cause physical harm to an officer, if that is applied universally, Your Honor, it totally diminishes and violates the First Amendment. That is, as the officer testified, a 21-foot radius that he can attempt to impose. I believe his testimony was anytime there's not an obstacle between a person and somebody that law enforcement is interacting with. And that's just not what the law requires, Your Honor. The First Amendment gives their media, new media, old media, it gives individuals the right to film government agents. There's no dispute that that's the requirement, and if the officer is applying this 21-foot circumference to all law enforcement interactions, he's effectively eliminated the ability to film law enforcement going about their duties. The commands to not talk to the driver are also not based on any actual legal justification. There's no right to privacy in public, whether you're engaged with law enforcement or not. There's no requirements or no statute, no law that citizens can't interact with drivers that are interacting with law enforcement. So what's taken place here, Your Honor, is that this officer has taken it upon himself to essentially act as the legislature and created these rules that have no basis in any law, and in fact are contrary to the First Amendment. Again, he can't obstruct an unlawful demand, so there is no obstruction of justice here. Resisting arrest, Your Honor, the court can see the video. Essentially what happened is he walked over to the front of the vehicle. There was some dispute about why he was being detained, and that was discussed. The case law in that area, Your Honor, is that if it's an unlawful arrest, which it was in this case because they're essentially arresting him for violating these unlawful orders that they're pronouncing. Again, the case law is you can passively resist an unlawful arrest, and that's all that occurred here, Your Honor. Thank you.
I personally think that was a pitiful attempt at defending freedoms and proving innocence.
Well, your personal opinion doesn't matter because the judge is going to rule on facts of the case, not his rhetoric.
He simply could have constructed a bulletproof defense with bullet points. Fact: the cop lied. He said my client didn't back up when he
That's not a
clearly
fact.
did. The prosecution says we wouldn't be here if my client had obeyed the commands to back up and stop talking to the driver. Your Honor, my client clearly complied with both of these commands. So what's the problem? And I agree, we shouldn't be here. The video evidence proves my client is innocent, and if anyone should be on trial today, it should be the law enforcer who attacked my client because he got his feelings hurt for being called a little doggy and was told to mind his own business.
This is why you're not the lawyer defending him, because your stupid arguments make no sense and they have no legal basis or sound conclusions.
The fact is, Your Honor, this is supposed to be a court of law, not a court of feelings. My client broke no law. No lawful command was given. No victim was created. No crime was committed. There was no obstruction, and the arrest was a false one that should have been resisted. Your Honor, you simply can't have a lawful order when there's no law backing the order. Lawful order means any order, directive, policy, or instruction given by an authoritative source or given to ensure compliance with federal, state, or local law, which may be conveyed verbally or in writing.
We get a Google
There was
definition.
no law conveyed. But because the judge cares more about her feelings than any kind of law, and because she feels like officer safety trumps American rights, and because she endorses roadside extortion through traffic law,
I just want to point out that this guy literally showed the laws that Chili broke and annotated them at the beginning of his little diatribe in this video. He has actually done that. Yet he still insists that it's not a lawful order. I guess his opinion trumps actual law.
this was her verdict.
All right, Mr. Castro, please stand. The problem with the argument that your attorney makes is it completely fails to consider the safety of the officer and the safety of the driver. The officer doesn't know who you are, and the driver doesn't know who you are. And you don't have any right to interfere with that officer doing his investigation and deciding if he wants to issue a ticket to this driver. And you also don't have any business approaching the driver. The driver didn't ask you for help. The driver didn't say, help, help, you know. You didn't see an altercation happening between the officer and this driver. The officer didn't protest that you were filming. There's no problem with filming. You can film, it's fine, all right? But you did interfere with his investigation. You did interfere with his ability to do his job. You did put him in a position where he is concerned for his safety and the safety of the driver. So I believe the state's met their burden beyond reasonable doubt. I'm going to find you guilty of obstructing a public officer and resisting a public officer.
In my opinion, there was no lawful basis for this conviction. There was only a subjective opinion that Chili obstructed and resisted.
And your opinion doesn't matter here because you're wrong. I mean, you can literally see in the video that what she said there is exactly what happened. And she is ruling based on Nevada law that is codified in legal registry.
This is a dangerous precedent that discourages transparency and penalizes those who would want to hold their public officials accountable.
You're
so then
lying.
The prosecuting attorney recommends that Chili attend an impulse control class, be charged $500 of the equivalent in community service, and serve 90 days suspended sentence on each count to run concurrent. After the defense claims that Chili believes in what he's doing and doesn't want to engage in wrongdoing, the judge reveals the real reason she's passing down such a harsh sentence.
When you say he doesn't wish to engage in any wrongdoing, it seems to me from observing him in the video that he wants this. He wants to get arrested. He wants to get into an altercation with the police officers. He welcomes this. This helps his YouTube channel. He called the officers here in my courtroom today pigs. He called and he's nodding his head up and down. So apparently he hates every law enforcement officer in the United States. All right. Please stand up, sir. I hereby sentence you to 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 1, 90 days in the Clark County Detention Center on count 2, to run consecutive for a total of 180 days in custody. Thank you.
Sentence suspended or?
Oh, no, I'm going to start right now.
And that right there, ladies and gentlemen, now I'm going to throw my opinion. Well, I've been throwing my opinion out a lot through the course of this video, but I'm going to throw my opinion about the original video. That was the best part right there. When Chili says suspended, she says, no, you can start serving it right now. That was the best thing I've seen in a long, long time of court watching. Oh my God, Chili. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it means that you go to jail and you go bye-bye now. I'm sorry that that's what that exchange meant for you as an individual, as a human, because even though I don't like you, I don't think that a human should have to suffer in jail. But you legitimately did an illegal, very stupid thing that in other situations has gotten police officers killed. If the police officer ignores the situation and it ends up being a more dangerous situation than what you instigated, it could mean the end of their life or the life of the other individuals involved in a very mundane traffic stop. So you can't do this type of stuff, my man. You can't do this type of stuff. And the commenter here that created this video is just dead wrong about everything he's saying. And nobody should pay attention to what he's saying because it's going to get them in trouble, just like it got Chili in trouble, and just like it's going to get this commenter in trouble if he tries to live his life by this ideology.
Can you put your I'm back to the shoulder.
Bye, Chili.
This is a travesty of justice.
This is exactly what it is. A travesty of justice.
It's not
because
a
a man
travesty of
doesn't
justice.
like cops or their aggressive and deadly actions against Americans committed every single day.
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Please take some time to leave your thoughts about this in the comments below.
I'm
For those who
taking my
hate
time to make a
Chili,
frickin'
do you
video to
really
leave my
think
thoughts.
this was just? If you do, please explain. And for those of you who love Chili,
I can't believe people
what are
like
your
this.
views?
I can't believe my views are, I can't believe people like you exist with these distorted views of social reality that we all live in. Those police officers are just trying to do their job, and some guy with way too much time on his hands approached them while they were doing their job and turned their job into a very threatening environment. So, I mean, just think of it like if somebody came to your McDonald's while you were cooking your fries and turned it into a threatening environment. Do you think that they should have that legal authority to do that while you're cooking your French fries? I don't think so either. And that's why we're just going to leave that case there. And that's going to end our show.